What are the most important things not to do when you're thinking about leaving a narcissist? Well, in this episode, we're going to cover those critical steps, so you are not going to want to miss it.
So let's talk about that. We're going to talk about several different things today, but the most important critical step to not take when you decide to leave a narcissist. What is it?
So tell them.
You should not tell them.
Yeah, you cannot tell them until you are ready. The biggest mistake that I made in the heat of a horrible argument, our marriage was falling apart. It was miserable. I had tried everything, as you all have. Nothing works because you can't fix the unfixable. But in that heat of that moment, I said, I can't do this anymore. I want a divorce. And it went from screaming to silence. And then he laughed. It was very eerie. And I didn't know what to expect, but he said, no problem, pack your bags and leave. Now, this was my house. I owned this house. And he's telling me to pack my bags and leave. I'm like, you must be kidding me. I'm not leaving. He goes, well, I don't want the divorce, so I'm not leaving. When you're married, you can't just kick your spouse out of the marital dwelling, regardless of who owns it. So I didn't know what to do because I wasn't prepared for that. I was prepared for him to say, fine, whatever, I'll get an attorney. But that's not what he said.
Well, you're not dealing with a logical person.
No. And I was not prepared for that war. I was not. So that was the number one mistake I made. That is number one not to do. Don't tell them until you're ready.
And it's not always verbal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. We talked about this in our Red Flag Friday video. You have to be careful that you're not sending messages, nonverbal messages that you're gone.
Yeah, like you've detached, your personality's completely changed. Your narcissist knows you better than anyone. And they know your triggers, they know where to pour salt on the wounds, they know how to love bomb you, hoover you. They are masters, manipulators, control you. So the change in attitude and that detachment sometimes also backfires because then they suspect you're up to something. And they'll go about it two different ways. They'll either all of a sudden start acting nice, do something sweet, agree to something that you've begged them to do. And then you're like, well, maybe they realize that they're a huge part of this problem and they're willing to work on it. False. Or they'll plan something behind your back and hit you with it when you're not ready.
Right. So verbal and nonverbal. Everything needs to stay status quo while you're planning. So let's talk about that. Number two, the most important thing to not do is to do this kind of willy-nilly and I'm just going to kind of figure it out as I go. No.
You have to have a plan of action. And when your brain is literally in this fog, I call it, because you have been in fight or flight mode for the whole relationship, basically, you cannot think logically. Why try to get yourself in such an anxiety-ridden state? Just follow the steps. John and I did an entire webinar called the 12 Critical Steps to Take Before You Leave. And when I say they're critical, they are critical. So you have to have a plan, follow the steps, exercise the plan, and then you can start making logical decisions on the next course of action.
Yeah, you know what I love about the 12 critical steps? It comes with a checklist. You just check them off as you go. Think about the day before you leave for a vacation. You're kind of stressed out. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, you create a list, right? I got to get my passport, got to get my dry cleaning, got to make sure the plane leaves on time. I got to get my ride to the airport. And you go down your checklist so that you make sure I've got everything packed. Everything is ready to go. You're leaving forever, or this is a forever thing.
Yeah.
So having a list is critical, but it brings your anxiety level down so that you can think clearly. And you really don't have to think. If you just follow the items on the checklist, they're so...
Well, plus it starts allowing your brain to start making logical decisions. When you start reading something and actually writing and doing the action, your brain is following along with what you are telling it to do. When you're in an abusive, narcissistic relationship long-term, your body has no clue what to do. It is following your brain, which is on cortisol overload, And so it's making anxiety-ridden decisions. This is a chance for you to actually start turning that around and start making logical decisions, which, believe me, when you are wanting to divorce a narcissist, you have to think logically. So going with a checklist is definitely a step in the right direction. Now,
Okay.
what is the third thing not
Third thing
to do?
to not to do. It's hire an attorney that you know nothing about, or a friend referred them, or I've heard good things about this attorney. No, you have to use the attorney interview checklist that Melissa provides you,
With those critical steps.
those critical steps. But we hear this almost every week.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. We have a client going through a divorce when Melissa's divorcing coaching program, and they have hired the wrong attorney. But guess what? It's too late. Once you realize that, it's too late. You've given them all your money for a retainer. You can't change at that point. You're too far down the road. So hiring the right attorney who understands narcissistic behavior is critical. I can't state this enough. It has ruined so many people's lives by having the wrong representation. So it's absolutely critical that you do.
It cost me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars by hiring. I actually got my attorney referred to me by the prosecutor who prosecuted my ex-husband for domestic violence and assault. And what he said to me is, he said, this guy's a shark in the courtroom. Well, that's one thing. But if it takes you 3 years to get to the courtroom, then you could be financially devastated by then. And that's what your narc wants. They want to beat you down to where you're just giving in. You're giving up your rights. You're giving up your marital assets. You're giving up potential support. So when you hire the right attorney, and this is honestly the reason I got my certified divorce coaching certificate, is because I wanted to be able to help people not make the same mistakes that I made, and so many of our clients who get to me too late. I can help you do legal research in your state, and I can help you choose the right attorney. We will together go through the attorney interview questionnaire. If they can't answer those questions, they don't understand narcissism. And understanding it and not falling victim to their manipulative games, because think about everybody who's fallen victim to their manipulative games. You, people on the outside, it's no different than them manipulating their own attorney.
Yeah,
or your attorney.
Yeah, they pull the exact same stuff that they've been pulling for years in the court.
Oh, yeah.
Delay tactics, firing our attorneys that have to hire another one for another delay. These delays go on and on and on.
Trying to break you.
Right.
Trying to break you. So getting that attorney that understands not to play these games and to shut those things down immediately will save you so much time, money, and heartache. So hiring the right attorney is a big deal.
Hold on.
Well, I want to talk about one more thing
Okay.
that is critical, and that is courtroom preparation.
Oh, my gosh.
This is so, because you are a bag of nerves.
Yeah.
Even though you go through the critical steps, because you are now prepared. You've gotten the documentation. You've done all the critical steps that we've been talking about. So you are ready. Mentally, physically, emotionally might be a different situation. So one of the things that I do with my clients is role playing, because you are going to be tormented on that stand. And I'm not trying to scare you, but you really need to take heed to this, because a judge may or may not understand narcissism, okay? So if you're on the stand and you start breaking down emotionally and you're not able to speak clearly, you're not able to, they're going to try to trip you up. They're going to try to make you look
That's
like
the opposing counsel's job.
that is their job, to make you look unstable, to make you look emotional, to make you look potentially like you're lying, not in control. It's very difficult to maintain that type of posture if you're not prepared for that type of war. So going through role playing, it is uncomfortable, because I'm going to act like the other attorney, but that's what you need. You need to know what to expect, so you need to know how to prepare an answer.
Well, it's rehearsal.
It is a rehearsal, and it gives you a chance to think about, I'm speaking the truth, so I don't need to be emotionally upset about the truth. You just need to be clear and concise. if they push you, take a breath. All of these things we talk about, they can't rush an answer out of you.
Right.
So these are the things that we go through to help you prepare. And it is huge because you don't want to do all these critical steps and then get on the stand and absolutely lose it because you're not prepared.
Well, and that's why I love the way you coach your clients. This is how you answer these questions. If they start doing this, this is how you do this, because
They'll put words in your
exactly, this is the first time you've been in a situation like this.
Yeah.
And so you don't know how to do it and how to answer these questions or how to deal with this onslaught of lies that are coming at you combatively. So you have to know how to do that. And Marissa does such a great job with role playing with her clients and really getting them so that when they do get on the stand, they're nice and calm and cool and collected, and they just go right through it.
Yeah.
And it's just,
and it's big. It is big because so many people think if you show all these emotions on the stand, they'll be able to see your pain. But unfortunately, if a judge doesn't understand narcissism, they just see it as you being very emotional and potentially looking for sympathy. And that is really harsh because you've already gone through so much. So having control of your emotions to the best of your ability, being prepared, will be so much better for you. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel better about being cross-examined. And you will know you are speaking the truth, and no one is going to be able to put words in your mouth that are not the truth, because narcissists lie. They lie to everyone. They've lied to their attorney. Their attorney may or may not believe them, but it's the attorney's job to represent them and to push those lying narratives. So it's our job to coach you to not be sucked into that.
I think that's why by the time you eventually got to court, you did so well and got a very nice judgment that, of course, Melissa never saw.
But he didn't get anything.
But he didn't get anything.
He got nothing.
And so, but it was because of the way she handled herself. 2-day trial. And she was on the stand for hours and hours. And so she was totally prepared and knew everything, which I know you'll know everything, but we know how to convey it properly.
Right. That's backtracking, because they will try to put words in your mouth. They will try to answer questions for you that actually set a false narrative.
Right.
And those are the things you need to know how to combat, because there are just little tricks and tips that you can do that will shut that line of questioning down.
Let's get the mailbag.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay, so we're going to put all those links below.
Now, these questions actually fall right into Flay, because we did a video about my book, and these actually came up from a couple of the comments on that video. So
these are great. I'm going to try to read these without my glasses, so I may have to read them. What do I do during our pre-divorce co-parenting meetings with the guardian ad litem when the narcissist continues to lie and make me look unfit? Wow. And it will happen.
It happens all the time. As far as you do have to go through co-parenting classes. If you have children together, the court's going to make you do this. The best thing for you to do before you go to this first class is to document behaviors, patterns, because you will start noticing things that your child is doing differently. Whether it's them staying up all night at the narcissist's house, and then you try to get them back on schedule in your house, and you're having this war with the child. Documenting everything, date and time, documenting behaviors, documenting missed appointments, documenting emails, missed school emails. We always recommend, big time. Yeah. We always recommend using a co-parenting app. We recommend our Family Wizard. They're amazing because it takes that guess game out of it. It takes the lies out of it, because you have to communicate through an app, which the guardian ad litem can actually be part of, so they can see both sides, and you don't get roped into these emotional circles where they're trying to trap you. And getting upset during a co-parenting session doesn't work well for you. So because they're going to be calm, they'll be the victim. They'll be the one you're trying to rip their children from them, and they can play that part like an Academy Award-winning actor, where your emotions are all over the place. You have to be prepared going into these meetings. Before the first one, write down every single thing you're responsible for with the children. What are your job duties? What have you done during the marriage? What do you still do? And then what are the soon-to-be exes?
But we're so grateful that you've been here today.
And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like this video. And we hope to see you on our next episode.